most important words anyone ever hears, especially if you're in the service industry, is the words trusted advisor. And I just want you to think about, for a second, in your life, forget work, in your life, in your personal life, who thinks of you as a trusted advisor? If you're married, I hope your answer is your spouse. If it's not, there's another counseling class going on down the aisle that you might need to attend. But for anybody in the service industry, the role of trusted advisor is huge. Okay, so if you look at the areas of life where people really hold this sacred, think about it. It's when one of them is when you're dealing with someone's money. When someone says to you, I need you to be a guide because I don't know exactly what I'm doing here. I need you to give me some counseling because, I think I understand this, but you're an expert and I need you to consult with me and help me put together a plan. When that happens and it works, they love you. When it happens and it doesn't work, you are the most hated human being on earth. That's how it works. Once you become a trusted advisor, and many of you are starting to enter into that relationship. Once you become a trusted advisor, I will tell you, and if this is the one thing you take away from our interaction today, is you've got to hold that thing and guard it. It must be sacred. Because if you lose, if you damage that trusted advisor role, and we're going to talk about how that happens today, but if you lose it, take it from me, 20 years in journalism, it's not impossible, but it's extremely difficult to rebuild that trust, rebuild that relationship. The single most important thing is to walk with integrity in all that you do in your profession. That is the single most important thing. When I have VPs or directors who report to me and they interview folks, I don't make the hiring decisions, they do. I tell them, I want 10 minutes with that person when you're ready, when you have a finalist, because what I want to do, I don't want to interview them to see if they can do the job. I don't want to interview them to see if they've got talent, charisma, style. I want to interview them to make sure that when they walk out our doors, they never misrepresent our company. Because I truly believe that if you have talent and you always walk with integrity, and that doesn't mean you won't make mistakes, but you always walk with integrity, it will lead to business. If someone comes to you and you've got a client and you think that it should be managed a little differently, you think the numbers are not right, you think that there's a different process, and these are not always black and white issues, they're shades of gray. You must speak your mind. And if you don't, if you're not in an environment where you can do that, quit. Find another place. I run the recruiting operation for Armanino, McKenna. That's one of the practices I run. I can tell you, and I'm not recruiting you, but I can tell you that one of the most difficult hires in America are accountants. It's a great market for you. If you work at a place where they expect you to do anything wrong, where they expect you to go against your personal belief system and what's right or wrong, that is not a place you need to work. There's plenty of research that says the best environments where people do their best work, where people feel whole, where people manage their personal and their professional lives the best, are when they work in environments where trust, honesty, integrity are held sacred. All the research says that. So this group said, we're going to look at financial professionals, people in this room. And they determined that there are 7 clearly identifiable competencies that will lead to financial success for their clients. 7 of them. At the top of the list, integrity was the advisor competency that had the most impact on financial returns for clients. Integrity. The time, the opportunity to grow your role as a trusted advisor, the best time is when you've made a mistake. It's when you made a mistake. You remember that deal when you were a kid and your mom would say, well, you know what? You're going to be on punishment. But since I had to find out this way, you're also going to get a whooping. But when you make a mistake with a client, and you come back to that client and you say, and here's the thing, let's say the client's not going to find out, or you think the client's not going to find out. Or let's say you do it inside the office and you think the partner or the managing, the person who's managing the project is not going to find out. But you go to them and you say, look, I made a mistake. And I just want you to know, and I've corrected it, and here's what I'm doing to make sure it's good. I tell you, for me, you got me. Especially if there was a good chance that I would have never found out. You got me. I know you're my trusted advisor. I know that you are watching my back. I know that in a barroom fight, you're not out the back door, but you're toe-to-toe with me, making sure we get out of that room. When you make a mistake, even if it's well, you know, if you just walk in the wrong door in the morning, you let that one pass. But if you make a mistake and there could be consequences, and you think, hey, no one's going to find out, that's when you build the relationship. And let me tell you something. You were talking to a guy who spent his career coloring outside the lines. My rule, my mantra was always, it's better to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. I'm the guy who always bent the rules. But there's a difference between being entrepreneurial, taking chances, and abusing the trusted advisor role. And I've never lied to a client. I've never deceived a client. I've never deceived my employee base. And I think that is why I've had the opportunity to run 4 companies. And I think there's so much talent in this room that if you get this down, you will have a stellar career. Now, I'm no saint, and I don't think the room's full of them. I think you have to decide early on that come hell or high water, you will manage this issue. You will walk with integrity. You will walk with honesty. You will define that for yourself. And here's my advice to you. You will find a support group, maybe in your office. Maybe it's a manager. Maybe it's a partner. Maybe it's a priest. Maybe it's your family. You will find a small group where you feel challenged. You can go to them and say, here's what I'm thinking. And I'll show you my final slide because I'm about to get the hook. And it's this. Every day, I walk in my office. For the past 17 years, there's a wall hanging that I look at. As I said, I'm no saint. This is my tool. I see this every single day. I can't sit at my desk and not see this. I use this. So when I get in those tough situations and I say, what should I do? $100,000 account? Tell the truth. I look at this and I read it to myself. My hope today is that I did not come off preachy. And if I did, I apologize. You know what? If I did, so what? My hope is that at some point you're going to find yourself in a situation, you're going to wonder what's you need to do, and you're going to remember this speech. And you're going to say, there was a guy who ran companies. There was a guy who at one time was like you, who was labeled a young up-and-comer. And he said, screw the money. Got to look myself in the mirror. I'll walk with integrity. That's my hope for you all today. To the young and to the emergers, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.